Hey, morning everyone. Welcome back to the channel, Scott Flip and Customize. And today we got the 03 F550, this badass rig we've been doing a ton of upgrades to back in the shop. And what we're doing today is I'm gonna do a short, stop shaking this camera, right? I'm sorry. We're gonna do a short video on headlight upgrades. The ones that are in here are misaligned, dim, loose, gotta go. We are upgrading to a set of badass headlights that are gonna have, like freight train, have you seen it? Like an LED, I believe, strip that we're gonna wire into the ignition on that'll have a daytime running light. It's gonna look pretty badass, so stay tuned. All right, so as you know, this truck has been in the shop for suspension, a complete plow setup, custom, we did custom fender, brackets. We're getting ready to start a custom bed for this thing, like a full construction bed. We have a headache rack in the works that we're in discussion on and trying to figure that one out. And I wish I did a video on it, but we just finished this big rig bumper on this thing literally yesterday, and I'm super, super happy with it compared to the old one, which is right here. I know you're not here for this video, but yeah, significant improvements. But let me dig out the headlights. I'll show you what we're gonna upgrade to. All right, right here. These are, I believe, Anzo is the company. Complete one unit. Now, you notice that that's three different pieces. This is one unit. Because the lower park light lens, the side marker light here, as well as that LED strip I was talking about here. And they come with a sealed halogen bulb in there. This is going to be for the LEDs. I believe that would be a regular headlight. And I think these are your LED strip wires. Wow, this is actually really good wiring too. Then we have the park light bulbs that go in here as well. And here we go with the Terminator Series full LED lighting upgrade. It's going to light up the night in this rig right here. So what we're going to do is just going to get the old ones out, pretty straightforward, and then get these in, and then we're going to figure out a power source to get these strips to go in as well and light it up. All right. As far as removal goes, well, these have been kind of like hacked in there. Right here on the top of this adjuster, right there, where that light is shining. See that white piece? Right there. There should be a clip holding that in, and there should be a clip holding this one in, and I don't have a clip on either side. So I'm gonna have to figure that out, a way to retain the new lights, because that is a problem. That explains why everything's so loose. There's also a bottom one, way in there. So you see, well, hold on, move this. See the Phillips down there. That light's blinding you, but right there. There's a Phillips. Then there's a connector that goes through the back of the firewall, and there's two radiator support, not firewall. There's two clips you got to squeeze in to get that whole assembly out. Now, there's two ways you can do it. You can get down in there with some long needle nose pliers like so and squeeze those two tabs and pop it out, which works sometimes. Or you can simply unscrew that Phillips head all the way, the adjuster, and then it'll come off and separate, and you're left with half the adjuster still in the back wall there, so you can just reuse it. So it's not super difficult. So again, two clips on the top, and then that one in the back down low. That is the tough one to get to. This assembly will come out. They're all loose anyway, so I don't see that being too difficult. Then the lower ones, I believe this is just popped in and clearly half popped out. There's two screws along the bottom, and that comes out. Now remember, our new ones are complete one assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to pop one of these out here, and we'll go from there. Okay, so a little better view now that it's pulled out here. And it did pretty much pull out because I'm missing the clips here. So again, I have to figure out clips. I don't even know if I can get those locally or if it has to come from Ford, but we'll get by and maybe get the clips later if we have to. And then the bottom, I was able to get to those two tabs I was talking about, and they go straight through that hole in there. So you basically go down straight through here and squeeze, and it did pop right out, probably because it's been out before. Now here's the headlight. We're not reusing that because we're going LED upgrades. So let me get that fully removed and get the rest of this one, which wasn't even really in. The lower lights completely out. We'll have a bare shell and go from there. All right, so bottom screws down here. 6mm head. Odd. Seems odd to me. Okay, now that that assembly is completely out over there, we're looking at the new assembly, and it's worth saying that basically you're going to reuse the original, I guess, incandescent. You could go LED though. Sockets, essentially, for the lower marker lights and or blinkers. So you will be reusing those. Keep that in mind. The new LED light, although this is the main plug here, has its own plug back here. So that is gonna go into here. That rubber boot may interfere with it. We may not be able to use the rubber boot. We will see how they fit. And then that itself, just plug and play, it plugs back into the harness itself. And then we put that adjuster back in this thing. All right, in discovering in the destructions here, it looks like you don't use this bottom adjuster at all anymore, gone. It has a couple different adjusters, which I'm sure are possible to get at. We'll have to deal with that once it's in. But basically, it just goes in here, and you need those clips, which it did say it came with the clips. It doesn't, they're not in the box. So that sucks. And then the bottom gets mounted in the existing where the park light was mounted. So it's just these two and these two. It's actually pretty straightforward as far as mounting goes. Then they want you, for the daytime running light, just to connect this into a park light power. However, we want this as like a daytime running light, so it's on whenever the key's on. So we gotta find a different power source for that. So we will have to do that and run a wire. Black is just gonna be ground, and then red is gonna be powered all the time with key on. So we'll probably come out of a fuse box with that, but let's see. Again, you could probably upgrade these bulbs themselves to an LED bulb. Not a big deal. But what I like to do, since we're reusing the sockets, these older sockets, is put a little dielectric grease here on our connectors of everything before we put the new bulbs in place. Then we can get these babies buttoned in. We gotta find our power source and change out our LEDs. I'm gonna do that right now. Unplug this, unscrew this. Hopefully these go in fairly straightforward, but I have my doubts this ring is gonna fit either. We'll see. All right, at least on these headlights that we're upgrading to, in order to reuse the connector here, we had to take this piece off the light. Now, this is probably light specific. Slide this off, slide our connector on, slide it back on, tighten it back down with an Allen wrench. Now it'll go in. A little dielectric grease around that seal. We'll lock it in place. We'll get it plugged in and see if we can't stuff it all under the boot. I have a feeling we're gonna have to at least, I don't know, cut a hole through the boot or something and do the plug outside of the boot. That's kind of my thought. We'll see. All right, as expected, it didn't fit. We had to cut a slot, bring the connector outside. This is just a dust boot, but I'm gonna go ahead and put some weather sealant on this, basically silicone, to seal that back up now that that's on there. We got our factory bulbs back in here. We're just gonna pop this thing in, figure out our clip situation, and put the bottom screws in. But before that, I'm going in hunt of a power source and to pull the other headlight out. You don't need to see any of that. All right, up near the firewall in these trucks, this one's just kind of chilling down here. There's a little fuse or relay panel, and I believe the gray one or one of these it has a key on power source. I'll have to verify that with a test light. And that would give us the key on power source. We would splice into that, run it over to this headlight, and then tee over to this one, and you'd have them on all the time with the key on. The other option we have is on this rig, we have installed it's basically a remote control from Rough Country here. You can control a bunch of different circuits and turn them on and off from inside the truck at all times. The only problem is with that is this is powered at all times. So if he was to turn his daytime running lights on, one, he'd have to turn them on. Two, these are designed to stay on, your power on, even with the truck's off. So if you're out hooking up a trailer or whatever you're doing, so you still have lighting, he could easily forget his headlights on and leave them on like forever. So, and it would drain the batteries naturally. So I think we might shoot for testing that one first and see if we can't find that key on source. That way, he doesn't have to worry about it. They come on with the key on, shuts the truck off, they shut off. So let me do some probing and I'll let you know what I find. But I actually forgot, I gotta let the chickens out for the morning because we have to lock them in at night. We've had a bunch of predators this year. We always have predators, but more than normal. So give me a sec. And there's our shop truck that we're giving away. We're selling stickers, so 80 stickers, $100 a piece. And it could be yours. So, well, you can just let me know if you want one. Pretty badass rig. And by chickens, I mean like the turkeys, the geese, the ducks, they're all up in there. There we go. So we'll be letting them out here to graze and play in the pond. And the geese have big mouths, as you can see. They're all excited to come out here and go for a swim and get a drink. Yeah. All right, now back to finding that power wire. All right, found power underneath this little black relay. So in there, it's actually the inboard little prong right there. The inboard one. So it goes in there like so. So it's this one. You just got to find a wire on the backside. We can pull power from that. And that's where we get power. That's key on and engine running. I checked them both to supply power to headlights. Oh, and that wire color on the backside is a red wire with a yellow stripe. And we're also gonna go ahead and put an inline fuse with that thing, just because we wanna protect these in that circuit that we're pulling it from, just so you're double protected. All right, so now that we spliced into there, we got it protected with a 5 amp fuse, inline fuse holder. I ran it down along the inside of this fender here, and it comes out right here. So that's gonna power the LED, the red wire on our headlights over there. The ground is just gonna simply go to a ground. We'll find a local ground here, we'll tap into that, one for each headlight, probably separately. However, now this one is also gonna feed that one. So in one end of a butt connector, I'll put another 2 wires coming out. This power coming in, and it's gonna feed the other one as well, and that'll power up both of them. You know what I'm saying? You have your 1 wire coming in, it splices here, and then we'll run it through along with this channel here, and then feed this LED light at the same time. All right, so I got most of the wiring made up. So again, we got the feed coming down that we spliced into, which is right here. Then it tees off or splices into another one and feeds that headlight. So now you have one that's gonna plug into this headlight, then that one that's spliced in over here is gonna plug into this headlight. Now, remember, those need grounds as well. I went ahead and made little, I guess, little harnesses. Then I'm gonna put a self-tapper screw into the radiator support, and then again, you'll have the plug-in. So I put plug-ins instead of hardwiring these, so if you gotta take the headlights out, instead of having hard wires, that sucks. It's nice to be able to take them out. So I have one on this side, one on the outside, so that gives you your power and a ground for the LEDs, and we get these lights in. I think I said get these lights in. That's what I meant to say. That's not how it came out. All right, we're all wired for the LED lights. Now that's an extra if you wanted to run those. You have to know, you could just tap into the park lights. So when the park lights are on, the LED strips come on. These are gonna be badass because it's gonna be like a daytime running light, which is pretty sweet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and plug these in with the key on to make sure that one, they light up before we go ahead and mount these things in there. So let me get the key on, bring the light over there and try it. All right, there we go. Key on. Now that'll be on every time the truck is running. Test both sides. Now we go ahead and mount these things in here. All right, so as far as mounting these headlights go, these are gonna clip in at the top, and then the only other way it mounts, now you're gonna plug in your headlight pigtail there into here, and then your other bulbs, lights, they're gonna go into the back, and then you plug in your LEDs here, and then the bottom is held in with 2 fasteners, one here and one here, which is gone from this whole support. So we can't really have that one on this side. But this side was missing a screw, but the fastener attachment is there, so we can have 2 on this side. And then we do have to figure out the clips that hold in the top. I'll figure either make something temporary until we order them, and I'll check the local parts store and see if they have anything. All right, guys, I'm gonna set you down. I'm gonna go ahead now that we got them in. I'll give it an up close view. I just want to show you like key on, park lights, headlights, everything. You kind of get a full view of what this thing's gonna look like. So basically, key on, I'm just gonna give you those daytime LED lights. They're gonna be on every time. I hope you can hear me. Right there. So when the truck's running, the key is on, that's what you got. Then you got the park light, then you got the headlights, high beam, low beam, I gotta adjust them, and blinkers. Thing I can't really tell. Wait, so we got a blinker out. Alright, so I got a blinker out. That socket is giving me a hard time. It's like the second time I've had to fix it. So I might just try to find a replacement socket for that, because I've had to take it out 2 times. But what a cool look, right? Check it out. So in a nutshell, that completely transforms the look of the front of this truck. That is badass. And the daytime running lights, seeing that come at you, oh, it's just big rig style. I love it. I love it. But I gotta take a look at that, and I gotta find clips for the top there. But that kind of gives you an idea of doing a whole headlight upgrade, getting rid of the old, even though these are, I'm sure, aftermarket. All that old crap and putting some newer, higher quality stuff in there. It definitely changes the look, and it spices it up a level to go ahead and have that white LED in there as well. That's pretty rad. Oh, and I found the headlight retaining clips for all you guys that are out there looking for them. Right there, it's a Dorman number, 42190. They'll take care of your Ford headlight retaining clips. We got them. Thanks, AutoZone. So in closing, I hope the video helped a few guys with these older Super Duties that are looking to do headlight upgrades. You can tap into that relay panel up by the firewall. Just make sure you fuse it. I just went with a 5 amp fuse, really low, but it is protected at least for these LEDs. And then obviously it's older trucks. You're gonna run into broken hardware, all that stuff. Clearly a socket messed up. But anyway, it's a cool upgrade. It was a fun one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe because it helps our little channel grow. Take care, guys. Scott, Flip and Customize.